Welcome to another episode of the Popko Project Podcast. Today I'm joined by Blake, guitarist for the band Joyous Wolf. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. We were talking earlier. You are in California right now. We're doing this 9 o'clock my time. It's 6 o'clock where you are. It's dark and crappy here. And yeah, we've seen our last sunset post 8 p.m. until next year here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it stinks.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny though. Actually, I have my sister-in-law is actually in from California. So
Oh,
yeah, so she's here in the gloomy northeastern Pennsylvania.
see, we've traveled through there a couple times, and the landscape and the trees are so gorgeous in that area.
It is. It is. It's a nice area. I mean, I've been here my whole life. I've been fortunate to travel outside of this area, not very far. I think the furthest west I've ever been is Colorado.
Oh, nice.
Um, I wouldn't say I'm a world traveler by any means, but I like to get out of here every now and then.
Yeah, it's good to see some other things, a change of scenery.
Yeah, for sure. So you and the guys in Joyous Wolf have a new record out. It's due on August 21st. So it should be a week from when this gets released.
Ooh.
It's called In Between. It's exciting.
Super stoked. Yeah, it's been a very long time coming as far as putting off the material until it's right in the right context, and couldn't be happier that it's coming out in the best way possible.
Yeah. So I got a an early preview of it from your PR group, and I gotta say, man, the songs rip. The vocals are incredible. The music is tight. I was driving, listening to it, and I couldn't help but crank it up. My Apple Watch is going off saying loud noise. I'm like, I don't give a shit. This is good. I'm
Oh, I
letting it
love
rip.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, these songs are great. And we're gonna get into that album. But before we do that, I kind of want to learn a little bit about the band. For someone who's just discovering Joyous Wolf for the first time, where are you guys from? How did this whole thing get started, and all that kind of fun stuff?
Yeah, so we're all from Southern California as far as like where we formed and originated, like the four of us. We started playing live, I think it was around 2014, 2016, I want to say something like that. Probably 2014 sounds
Okay.
sounds more accurate. And we just slowly started playing local places in Orange County. And then we got introduced to a manager, a booking agent. One thing led to another. We bought a van somehow, and then we were traveling, doing tours wherever we could pick them up. And then if we were lucky enough to get a festival date, we were able to do that too. We were signed to Roadrunner Records for a few years, and now we're on Blue Grape Records at the moment right now. And it's been an awesome ride transition now. So yeah, pretty much just blues rock roots, and we take a bunch of different influences. But we love to play live and finally have a record come out.
Yeah. Is this the first one? It can't be, right?
It actually is the first record. The
Okay.
first thing that we put out was an EP, like officially. And so we've never had like a LP, full length record release. So this is actually the first one. So it's really exciting to have that happen.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been together for, I mean, 12 years is a long time.
No
It really
doubt.
is, especially for a band. You hear those stories about bands getting together and differences of opinions and like breaking up and all that kind of stuff. So you guys have been doing at it for, a good solid 12 years now.
Yeah, totally. And, definitely things have fluctuated within the band somewhat recently. Like we just got a new singer. And before that, it's always just been the four of us, but we're still like just a four core like rock band at
Okay.
heart, just like one singer, one bass player, one guitar, one drummer, like that kind of setup. But that was one of the reasons why we wanted to hold off and make sure that the record was like as great as it could be to be released. Before that was like around COVID time for the songwriting process, and so it was just kind of dicey,
Yeah.
and we just felt like it was finally the right moment to be able to do it.
So the singer is new. How new is the singer?
pretty new. I mean, as far as like anything that we've released or like posted about, we just like I think a month ago released the first single with him. And before that, I think we had been together with him for probably a year or a little over a year at that point. And during that time, just trying to make sure that everything was connecting well and that we had like a good relationship, vibe wise and also music wise. And then once we kind of got that underway, we wanted to see how he sat with the album that we already had, and he just made it like so much better. Like say, it's just such a pleasure to have had him do what he did to it, and so excited to look forward to what he's capable of and what we are capable of going forward.
Yeah, like I said before, the vocals, like amazing.
It's serious. No, I like take it for granted now. Like I'm genuinely so spoiled, but like I try to remove myself every once in a while and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that we sound like this
Yeah.
and that we're also like lucky enough to have somebody like him to be able to represent the band like image-wise, talent-wise, ability-wise." And he's a phenomenal guitar player too, by the way. Like he
Okay.
has his own solo project and he's an extremely accomplished, very, very talented guitar player too.
And what's his name for the people listening?
Pedro Cordeiro.
Okay. I'll have to check that out. His solo stuff. Because yeah, his voice is incredible.
Yeah, you definitely should. He has, I think, at least one record, if not two solo ones out just under his own name that's on like all the streaming platforms. And before the album comes out, if you or anybody else wants to get like a better feel for his voice, he has some incredible stuff out there for sure.
Yeah. Talk to me about the earliest version of Joyous Wolf, the sound compared to where you're at currently. Obviously, a new singer, but have things changed over the course of 12 years, whether musically, obviously vocally, it has a little bit because it's a new guy. But talk a little bit about the growth that you've had over the past 12 years.
Yeah, totally. I think when we first started out, it was really it was very much so of the mind between all of us to just kind of like do everything that we could all at once and kind of like not really hold back. Um, just to kind of have a better live experience and to like honestly fully express ourselves to like the fullest extent of how we felt and what we wanted our songs to represent. Um, I think the difference between how we were way back then and possibly how we are now is like the attention to detail that we really try to have over the songs now, I think is so much more of a much more like broader perspective view as opposed to like trying to do a bunch of stuff in like this one little song. Whereas really this most recent or the record that will come out soon, we really wanted to focus on dynamics and kind of almost having like a dim switch as opposed to just having like an on-off rock band switch, like rock bands are amazing for being a wall of sound and then for writing ballads, it's like it's very hard to do the in-between stuff. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that as like a joke, like
Of
a
course,
terrible
of
bad joke,
course. No, you're
but
good.
like that is genuinely how the rest of us truly felt is it's like being able to listen to a bunch of different songs and have like this interplay of emotions and dynamics that's not just like all in your face for 3 minutes,
Mhm.
it's like it has different variations and it's kind of like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you definitely hear that in this new album. Like I said, the music's tight. I mean, everything feels very deliberate and intentional. And I mean, you got to be excited for the full release.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea, truly. I mean, like it being the first LP record that we've ever released, on top of how long it's been, and like with our new singer right now, who has just been incredible, like personally and talent wise. It's just like I said, I couldn't have imagined of it working out better for a release than it currently is. And I'm like, it kind of feels like Christmas. Like I'm just counting down the days until it's like, until I can pull it up on Apple Music and be like, oh my God,
It's
the
here.
thing that's been living in a Dropbox folder for 5 years, whatever it's been, people can actually hear it now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I usually talk to a lot of bands who already have the album released. And my question a lot of times is like, what's it like that now it's everyone's, not just yours? I mean, like, what's that anticipation like?
I mean, I think that truly anybody who is like proud or had a good experience in the songwriting process and the creation of an album always looks forward to this day because like your songs are your babies and
Hmm.
until they're not, and then
Yeah.
they're everyone else's.
Yep.
And that's a very beautiful thing to be able to do because like from a creator standpoint, it's like you try to have an open-minded perspective but still be true to like what you want to create and then kind of hope that people like it. But at the end of the day, you can only do that up until like a certain point and then you just got to jump
Yeah.
eventually, you know? So couldn't be happier for these songs that we've all like really put our heart into to be like everybody else's.
I'm excited for you, man. I really am.
Thank you very much.
And you guys pull from like hard rock, blues, soul, some alternative. How would you describe Joyous Wolf to somebody who's never heard you before?
I would say it's kind of like you know, a little bit of inspiration from almost every decade, honestly, because we pull from 60s, 70s, maybe not too much 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like a bunch of the guys and myself included are like big Muse fans, big grunge fans, big 60s soul, blues, and big 70s rock fans. So like there's sprinkled inspiration. I hate to say that as like a rock artist because it doesn't really give the listener like any clue because I'm trying to be so broad, you know. But like ultimately, it's like I feel it has a kind of similar feel to like the Led Zeppelin dynamic of just like four independent musicians playing rock music, but just with our own kind of version of whatever that is.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what musical DNA do you think you share? Because your PR people said bands ranging from AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Dirty Honey, and Royal Tusk.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good start. I mean, very, you know, very modern version of that would be Dirty Honey, very similar sound. We definitely pull from like the dynamic of what a 70s rock band would be as far as like roles go, but we're all huge Audioslave, Soundgarden, Chris Cornell fans, big Muse fans, like I said too. So we try to have like a good variation on like songs
Mhm.
and different sonic qualities when we like record. But it's all rooted in like, you know, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, that sort of thing.
And are those your major influences, like growing up?
You know, honestly, no. I was like into pretty heavy metal music when I like first was starting to play, and then I kind of transitioned into like a harder rock type thing. Like I got really into AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, System of a Down. I don't know if you call Foo Fighters hard rock, but I was pretty into them at the
Okay.
time, you know. So a good introduction to what I would soon appreciate more of, I feel like.
Okay. And the new album is called In Between, again, coming out August 21st. Where does that title come from? And what does In Between mean to you guys?
You know, it honestly just came from us not trying to force an album name, which I feel like a lot of the times we're like, okay, guys, we need a name for whatever it is at the time. And that's like the worst way to come up with anything. And I just feel like it was something that we all kind of shared that feeling and it spanned through so many years, whether the record was waiting to be released or we were waiting to get off tour or COVID was happening. You know, it's like I feel like our experiences so much of the time from our own perspective, we were always like cornered in between two different things. Like we were cornered in between where we were and where we wanted to be, and we just always felt like very stuck. And I feel like the release of this album is kind of like the actual finally progression from that state of mind.
Yeah. Was there a song when you were recording this album that you thought, okay, this is it. This is what this is supposed to sound like?
You know, I don't think it was during the recording of it, but there was a definitive moment when we were actually songwriting. And the track Storm is probably one of my favorite tracks off of the album. And that was one of the first songs that we ended up finalizing. And that song really gave us kind of like a blueprint of what we wanted the album to consist of. Because I feel like in that song was kind of our first attempt at having more of a dim switch on our dynamics as opposed to having a chorus be powerful but maybe not like completely on 10, and then having like a more interplay also with dynamics in verses and things like that. So that one's really special to me because it was kind of like the jumping off point for like everything else that we did, it felt like.
Okay. Can I share my three favorite with you?
I would love it if you did, please.
Get Myself Right, In Your Shadow, and Talk to Me.
Oh, very nice. Very,
Those are
very nice.
my three favorite out of the nine, right? Nine total?
Yeah,
Yep.
nine. There was a lot of thought that went into Get Myself Right. That song was probably the hardest song for us to write because um, part of it was dynamics, like being able to like kind of hold back dynamics, but have a powerful effect in the verse because like the vocals are kind of emotional and like very intimate, but the band's still kind of like going at it in the verse a little bit. Um, and then God, I totally. Oh yeah, as far as the songwriting went for it, I really tried to implement a lot of music theory in that one, and so it kind of took me a while to like figure out what I actually wanted to do. But I'm really glad that you liked it that much. That means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And Juniper was the first single.
It was, yeah, it was.
And is there a story behind that? And why did you feel that that was the first track to like kind of introduce this record with?
I think that we all kind of felt that it was a good one to release first, just because it was kind of like it was very in your face, all at once. So like it was very attention grabbing without having to wait for, let's say a chorus for a deep track, I guess. But as far as like like the first single goes, after not releasing music for such a long period of time, I feel like Juniper, and I feel like we all feel like Juniper was a good one to release just because it was really like in your face, but still very melodically interesting with like the different kind of harmony layers like
Hmm.
going around in that song.
Yeah. Is there a sleeper track on this record that might not immediately be an obvious single, but people should check out?
The Mechanic, 100%.
The Mechanic. Is that the
100%
last
without it.
one?
That is the last one, yeah.
Full disclosure, that's the only song I didn't get to.
Oh no. Oh, I mean, because of the ones that you picked, I don't know if it'll make the top three or if you'll prefer it as much as you did the other ones, but I would still recommend it just because that is like a tried and true song by everybody in the band. It was like we really love that song and just hope that it has the same effect on other people. So you should definitely give it a listen if
Yeah.
you can.
What are the odds that that would be the one I didn't get to?
It had to have been that way, right?
Yeah, well, I was getting to where I was going in the car, and I did listen to the first maybe 10, 15 seconds, but I didn't have a chance to really like sit with it for its entirety.
No worries. It's that's definitely worth, you know, I think that's worth like listening to the song for, even though it's just like it's a little bit longer of a track. Not as like singly, definitely,
Mhm.
but very much like deep track for
It
sure.
did the from what I did hear, it did feel that from the 15 seconds I did hear. Yes.
Yeah, it kind of keeps building throughout the song, so you don't really it's kind of like always changing throughout the entire song, but yeah, that's a great one. That's a great
Yeah.
one.
I'm looking forward to finishing the album.
Sweet. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. We live in such a singles driven era, right? Why was it important to, you know, complete a full length album outside the fact that this is your first one? I mean, obviously that probably has some driving factor to it. But why was it so important to you guys to, create something at a full length album?
That's always been like our favorite experience. And I think that different things will always be popular with more instant gratifications of available medias and technologies that are popular. I think that those will always be forever changing and for better for worse. It's always going to be a changing media outlet. I don't think that the album experience has ever changed for somebody who likes to put on an entire full-length album and listen to it front to back. Um, we're all very big fans of like Tool and Pink Floyd, so like a big long album experience is like It's something that always sticks with you.
Hmm.
It's like hearing a very, very emotional song, and then you kind of always play that one every time you want to like feel something again.
Yeah.
But like very, very macro view as far as like a compilation of tracks that do that throughout the entire song instead of just one, right? That's really what's always been important to us and just kind of who we are as a band. And I've always been of the mindset that it's like you should always do as a band what you feel like is at in your heart and soul. So like if that is making like killer singles or like awesome punk songs that are like 45 seconds long, like you should totally do that and not try to do anything that doesn't like speak to you collectively. I think that's something really important to where it's like I don't think that there's a right answer to make a single or to make an album, but I think that if it's a part of you as a band, then owning that will only strengthen like your fan base and I feel like your experience conveying yourself to an audience.
Yeah. I mean, I come from the era where, we waited 2 years for a new record release from your favorite artist. And you sat down with it and you started at track one and you finished at track 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever it was. And I kind of I miss that because even today, there's still bands putting out full length albums, right? But they release so many singles leading up to the release. It's almost like you heard the whole entire thing already. Um, which is like it's like you said, it's fine. Whatever, however you choose to do it, do what you want to do.
Mhm.
But I'm just of the era that those full length records are special.
I completely agree. And I usually have the same exact experience. Maybe not so much recently, but if I were to, I mean, if you were to ask me what my most memorable experience listening to music was, it was definitely an album and not a single song,
Yeah.
because it's such a glorious, like full encompassing experience. A great example, in my opinion, is like the band, just like a quick comparison, the band Royal Blood has like phenomenal songs. Like they release singles and they're so damn catchy. They sound great and they're a badass like stadium rock band. Um, I've never had like an album experience with them because I've gotten to know them from so much radio play and single play that like that is such a strong suit of them and they like kill it doing that. And they have extremely popular songs doing it like that. The other flip side that I'll mention is a band like Muse. Like they will have killer singles, like of course, like Hysteria, Knights of Sidonia, all that good stuff. But like if you were to listen to like a Muse album that was from like maybe a decade ago or something like that, the front to back experience is just like glorious. And it's meant to be that way too. Like every single track has its purpose in place. It's not like everything is supposed to be an album track or everything is supposed to be a single. It's like it's very, very well articulated and premeditated so that somebody can have that kind of experience that was meant to be had.
I don't think I've ever sat down with a Muse record like that yet.
Man,
Which
if
which which album should I start with?
oh my gosh.
I'm a Muse
I
fan, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I'm a of the singles of Muse.
I
In
am
fact,
so glad that I'm next to a computer right
I am
now
too.
because I am so bad with names. It's terrible.
I am too.
Absolution by Muse.
Okay. I'm gonna do that because I'm always looking for new stuff to like sit down with and kind of listen to, consecutively from start to finish.
Oh, dude, if you have the time, I mean, that is one of my favorite album experiences of all time, especially that I can remember right now with my short-term memory. They have, I mean, there's a deep track on that album called Fury that has like some of the best guitar bass tones I've ever heard. There's like a classical piano solo in one of the songs too. Like it's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane.
I'm trying to think of what record that I can, off the top of my head that I sat down with and I was just like, wow. It was probably a Tool album.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't think off the top of my head of one.
The Division Bell by Pink Floyd is probably one of my top three album
Okay.
experiences. That was like a 90s album that they made. Very, very like atmospheric, as opposed to like a lot of theatrical stuff that seems to be like a spectacle within like Dark Side of the Moon or something like that. but very like atmospheric experience with the Division Bell. I was a big fan of that.
Okay, I'll check that out too. Again, I'm familiar with Pink Floyd. I just never sat down with a with an album.
That's the thing, right? Is because it's like these bands have such damn good songs
Mhm.
that just like pop out, and that's what they're known for, right?
Yeah,
And then it's almost like you hit a gold mine nowadays when you go back and you listen to the full length record and you're like, "Oh my God, this is like a whole experience." Like what I loved was just like the flagship model. Like now I'm experiencing the entire thing, and it's a great thing to find.
now think about it. Now that I think about it, I Cake was one of those bands that I the singles Never There, Short Skirt, Long Jacket, um, The Distance. They are a great band, and I remember the album Comfort Eagle. That's a great record, and people they just know them for the hits.
Very true. I'm honestly one of them too. I only know them from the singles. So if you're saying that they have a killer catalog, I mean that's a great testament to
Yeah,
that being the case.
yeah, yeah. Music's fun, man. It's awesome. Obviously, you get that.
Oh, dude, it's so great and almost like every way you look at it, like you can pick out your favorite pieces from music. You don't even have to listen to it. You can look at the artwork. You can
Hmm.
look at the merchandising. You can do so many interesting things around music that encapsulates the experience of it that it's like there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, and that's why one reason I again, I don't want to say I hate the way things are now with the internet, and I mean I love the fact that everything is at your fingertips, but it's almost like overwhelming, right? It's like when you sit down and watch a movie, you spend more time trying to pick a movie than you do actually watching one. But what I was getting to is, back in the day, I loved going to the record store with no mission. Like it wasn't like a release day of a certain album. It was just like I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna flip through album art and I'm gonna just take a chance on a cool a cool cover or whatever it might be.
I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of taking a chance on a cool album cover. Um, I definitely hear and have experienced your point in the past for sure. I do try to always be optimistic, whatever the popular thing is or the reality of the industry is. But I definitely feel the same way where I'm kind of like social media overload after a while. And then that's what makes the record experience and the record store experience so much more successful. Is it's like you pull up there, you leave your phone in your car, and you just go into this record store and you're like, it's like all my problems just washed away from what I was sick of.
Yeah.
And then if you do like that constant surrounding of media, you can go back to it. Once you've, had your experiences, you can go back and forth. I just think that, things are so cyclical. It's just a little bit different with technology because it's usually always cascading upward to some extent with new developments and whatnot. But I think there's definitely a good relationship to be had with music and media.
Yeah. I miss going to the record store again with no mission and just hearing whatever the clerk was playing over the speakers and just being like, "Hey, what is this?" I found John Mayer that way. I found Jack's Mannequin that way. Yeah, just a lot of great music that I was introduced to just by walking in a record store.
That is so cool. Yeah, I mean, one of the phenomenal things about that experience too is meeting people. Like meeting
Hmm.
cool people you're looking at stuff with, or talking to the guys who work there, and being like, "Hey, what's playing?" or "Hey, what do you recommend?" Stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think the same thing can be said for like local music stores, because you can go into a local music store and meet the owner or meet the manager and have like a good experience with that if you're interested in buying an instrument or something like that.
yeah,
So yeah, I think it's still available.
yeah. We have a local record store, and I'm fortunate to know the owner. Shout out Joe Nardone. Joe Nardone's Gallery of Sound, it's called.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's still kicking. He at one point I think he had like 8 stores throughout our area. Now he's down to two, unfortunately, but thankfully that there's at least two. I'm not in there as much as I would like to be. I remember the exact cutoff actually when I stopped going in because I was there once a week. I was spending $200 a month. And then I had a kid, and I'm like, this is financially irresponsible. And I'll never forget it. There was a time, it was 2018 because my son was born in December of 2020 or 2017. And I was like, oh shit, this is just not like my kid needs diapers and food and stuff. Like I can't be just like, you know, buying records off the rip here. But
That hey, that makes it even more special when you do go to do it, you know?
I have to get back to that. Maybe I should just like go once a month.
Yeah, there you go. Have that's still a great experience to have, and not in any way a necessity to be at the forefront of how you experience or how anybody experiences media, but just being able to incorporate it in your daily life somehow, I think is like it's borderline therapeutic. I mean, it really is special.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I was in a record store just a couple months ago and we were in Ithaca, New York. And you reminded me of that feeling when you're there. It's like everything kind of you don't think about anything else. You're just kind of there in the moment and just yeah, it was cool.
And that's exactly the best thing that could happen is like you walk into a place like that or any place that is similar and you just forget that everything exists because what you're experiencing is real.
Yeah.
And it's not trying to be like funneled or you don't have to be forced to consume anything. It's just like, hey, I made a point to be here because I know this is special and I want to experience it. And that's very important for everybody to do.
Yeah. But we live in a digital age, you know, the algorithms and all that kind of stuff, streaming numbers. Um, how much does that kind of affect you guys, if at all? Like, do you guys get caught up in that? Does it influence what you're producing, all that kind of stuff?
Thankfully, no.
Good.
You know, there's always a balance somewhere. Like again, we're not Tool, like trying to make 8-minute songs and still be entertaining. That's the incredible. But we kind of can see the writing on the wall for like if we're writing something and it should kind of feel a certain way because like not that there's like an expectation, but you should be able to have a listening experience in modern day and still be honest with how you're writing it, right? So like if it still feels good and like, oh, it's 4 minutes and 1 second instead of 3 minutes and 35 seconds, it's like, well, we can probably make an exception. Like it's not out of the realm of possibility. So it's always a concern because like I feel like I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't a concern at all because that's how you're judged for so many different factors, whether it's booking agent, a tour, anything like that. Life is a numbers game at the end of the day, right?
Hmm.
That's probably the biggest factor for musicians. So it's definitely something that we take into consideration and we work on. But at the end of the day, like if we're not able to do that in like a tried and true ourself honest way, like it's not really like we wouldn't go out of our way to kind of be like synthetic and push that number up with ways that was not really true to ourselves.
That's good. That's good. It's always good to be true to yourself, right? Cliche, but I mean, at the end of the day, man, like that's just it's easier to sleep at night.
Man, the older I get, the more I realize that cliches are cliches for a reason. They're just laws of the universe, and no matter how much you want to roll your eyes at or scoff at it, like it will be true whether you believe it or not. In my personal opinion, that just seems to be how the universe works.
Yeah,
Truth be told.
absolutely. Talk to me about a Joyous Wolf live show. You've been together for 12 years. You told me, you went out on tour dates and stuff like that. Talk to me about that experience, your live shows and things like that.
Oh man, I mean those were the best. Just like simply put, number one, that those were the best by far. Every single live experience that we did as a rock band was just like that was the whole reason that we came together in the first place. We were like nobody or how should I say? We didn't feel like a lot of the people we wanted to perform with had the same intentions in mind. And so it was a big relief when we all came together because we wanted to focus so much on just like getting better technically, getting better songwriting wise, and then just having an awesome, energetic live performance. we've been so fortunate to tour with like amazing people and play on amazing festivals with legendary artists that that's where we've had our best moments as a band. And I feel it's a very polarizing experience, to be honest with you, because like as a listener of music, when I put a record on, I'm like, oh, that's what that band sounds like. And then I go see them live and it's like, oh, this is the band but live version. And in reality, it's completely reversed because as a band, like you do the thing one time where you record music and then people listen to it, but you play live as a band all the time.
Hmm.
So it's like your day to day and how you know your music is honestly live because you're doing it more as an artist. But as a listener of music, you know the band from what they've recorded because I mean, I'm sure you and myself have listened to music way more times than we've actually seen the artist, right?
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to have that kind of experience. It's just very, very interesting that it happens to be like kind of reversed. My whole point of that is just like that's where we've gotten our entire experience and perspective as a band. So it's been the best thing for sure.
I don't think I've ever thought of it like that before. You're right. Like you listen to, bands more than you actually see them live.
So much.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that I realized until we started recording music and releasing it. And then we had people tell us how much we loved they loved the recordings. And we were like, "Oh, thanks." Like it was kind of just like a one-time thing. Like we normally just play them live. Like we just recorded them once, right? Like when a song is released, you usually only record it once and then it's released. But when you play them live, you play them live a million times.
Yeah.
It's so funny how the shoe is on the other foot because the perspective thing is like super interesting.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Love that. Sometimes people say rock is dead. Do you think that?
I think that it depends what is defined as dead. I think that if it is like, oh, rock will never be like the most popular genre of music again, I don't think that rock music will ever be the most popular genre of music again. When you look at how successful the music industry is at creating artists from social media and artist development deals, like for rappers and hip hop artists, singers, that kind of thing. I don't think that rock will ever be in that kind of limelight because it just doesn't make business. Like if you thought about that from the people who are putting money behind the artist, it doesn't make sense for record labels to put that same kind of backing into people who they can't like develop, quote unquote. So if it was from the same perspective as like, oh, will rock ever be like as popular as pop music is? I mean, I would love it to be. I don't really see that realistically happening, but it's definitely not dead because I've definitely had very special live and album experiences with bands who are very, very new. And I have those memories with me and my friends do for like the rest of our lives. And to say that that is not actively happening, I think is an extreme disservice to the people currently still doing it right now. Do they deserve as much, if not more, credit for what they do? I mean, I feel like everybody does, but at the end of the day, it's and I said this in a different interview, and I know it's really cheesy, but it is very true. Where it's like it is the business of music, not the music business, because the business always comes first.
Yeah.
It's always where the money is, and unfortunately, that doesn't promote or give people the credit that maybe they should for having like an authentic band experience. But in some ways, it makes it more special for when you kind of go to a thrift store and you're like, oh man, all this stuff, like I wouldn't want any of this. And then you find like a golden outfit that it's like been calling your name for decades and you just found it right now. I mean, that's pretty special too.
Yeah. Do you think kids are, do you think, I mean, when I was growing up younger, like being a rock star was like, that was like, that's what you wanted to do. Like, I want to be a rock star. And I feel like, I mean, music's always been a business to a degree, right? Record labels and all that kind of stuff. You hear horror stories about those things.
Mhm.
But I feel like it's more of a business today than ever before. I think the whole world's like that with everything. I mean, you look at kids' sports these days, it's a huge business, wedding business, all this kind of stuff. Like, do you think there's kids out there who still like aspire to be like a rock star? Like, I mean, is there like an up and coming age group that like we want to be rock stars and they're getting in their parents' basements or garages and like trying to go for it?
I 100% do. I 1,000,000% do. And I think people are honestly doing it pretty successfully at the moment. Um, I think that really depends on if you want to say like how they're raised, but I think it has more so to do with like what they grow up with,
Hmm.
because like I feel like if I had a kid and I raised him on rock music and I showed him all the cool live videos, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a 50-50 chance that he'll even like it,
Hmm.
like kids are very influenced by their parents, of course, but sometimes the opposite happens where you try to put something in their way and they go the exact opposite way, right? I think the same thing is true for desires to be a popular musician or like a rock star, like you said. I think it just depends on what their goal is and how they value the experience of what that tangibility is. So, like, if they want the experience of having successful songwritings, business success, popularity, branding, all those kind of things, I totally think that that's popular or possible. I think it just manifests itself maybe in different ways. But I think people are still successful at it.
Yeah. I uh I always wished that I tried an instrument when I was younger. Never played guitar, never wrote a song. This is like my forced way of being involved with music, right? Um, and my mom wanted me to play an instrument when I was younger, and I think she just presented it the wrong way because she said that why don't you learn to play the banjo?
Huh.
I'm like, I'm like, that doesn't sound cool. Like I want to go play baseball, play basketball. And looking back, I laugh now looking back on it. I wish I would have, taken her up on that. Because who knows what I would have done. Um, and she could have just told me like, "Hey, dude, I'm 5'6", your dad's 5'9". Like basketball is not really in your future. Like baseball probably not going to happen. This could be forever."
Yeah, I mean, I think that I mean there's definitely something to be said about that, right? Because my parents definitely told me similar things, but like not, not exactly the same, but where they would suggest something and I would just go the other way because I was like, oh, I'm just polarized by whatever. Um, but at the same time, they were really smart because I was like obsessed with video games when I was what 11, 12, something like that, 13. And so Guitar Hero like had just came out. And so they were like, "Hey, here's this like perfect bridge between what you like and what would be awesome if you got into." And it was exactly it was so cliche, honestly. Like I got so into it. I loved the music and I just like playing the game. So I was like I didn't even think about playing real guitar, but then when I did, I was like, "Oh, this makes sense." Like after the fundamental like hurdle
Right.
uh, gets jumped over, um, super into music, and when it was just like I had a very good in with it. Like it was not super forced on me. I think the surrounding things were probably the best that they could have been.
Yeah, it sounds like it. The music, like you said, in those games are awesome.
Dude, they're so good. I mean, that was the first time that I ever heard Mississippi Queen. And then, funny enough, we ended up doing a cover of it so many years later. But so many of my favorite bands came from that game. It's hilarious.
It's pretty amazing to um, kind of see how the music from 60s, 70s, 80s kind of transcends generations. I have two kids, so I've seen both Sing movies, and they use a lot of like they used U2 in that, and a bunch of other different things that like I grew up with, or even before my time, that my
Mhm.
kids like love. And like they say, it's cool to have this like classic rock or classic music kind of being introduced to this younger generation, and it kind of continuing. And it's funny too. Like last night, we were starting to watch Back to the Future, and I forget what song it was. I can't even think of the name of it, and I hadn't heard it in forever. It's probably from the 70s, maybe early 80s. And my daughter was just like dancing to it. She's like, I love this song. I'm like, that's awesome.
And see, that is like what a what a better context, because it's like, it's not like you're sitting her down and forcing her to watch your favorite live concert and you're like, look how cool this is. Look, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're watching a movie and then, oh, there just happens to be a badass awesome song in there that she likes. It's almost like subliminal message. It's not subliminal
Yeah.
messaging,
No, you're
but
right.
like it has like kind of a similar effect to where you're like, haha, see, you do like something cool.
Yeah. 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 Like I said, music is amazing. It's such a it's universal language and just can make a shitty day great. It just I I can't imagine what it's like for a musician to, create something like that and it has an impact on people the way you do. And that's just what a cool thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what better there's no greater privilege in my opinion than to affect so many people's lives positively. No matter if you play to a room of five people or you play to stadiums every night. Like I think that we've been exposed to so many of the five people a room shows, and they're like, we drove 4 hours to come see you, and they're like very personal and emotional about some of the things to where like that's what it's all about. I mean, affecting people's lives like that who genuinely care about what you're doing and you genuinely care about how what you're doing is affecting them. It's such a beautiful symbiotic relationship.
I work for a media company, specifically some radio stations, and we got the bid to help produce the FIFA watch parties that happened recently in different areas of Pennsylvania. I think it happened other places too, but specifically our state of Pennsylvania, and in particular, Scranton, Pennsylvania. And what an amazing turnout it was for a FIFA watch party. We also added in some um, bands to it. We had one of the days we had Tonic, and one of the craziest things I saw was we had the band Hanson.
Oh yeah. Oh
Familiar
wow.
with Hanson
Oh yeah,
Mbop?
definitely.
Okay. Now, I remember when Hanson came out, 90s, right?
Mhm.
Um, I remember that song, obviously, and I think I was like, they had like one more that was okay after that, but nothing to even match Mbop. People drove to Scranton, Pennsylvania from Canada, from Florida. Uh, I was in attendance because, like I said, the company I work for helped organize it and produce it. I took my son up, and we were playing Catch It in the Lawn, and Hanson was performing. And these people, there's songs I've never heard before. People are singing it. It was crazy.
Yeah, that I mean that it is so true. It's just like and that's a case where like people know the artist because the artist is like popular. Like when you have that kind of an effect on such a wide demographic of people, I mean that's truly incredible. The fact
Yeah,
that you can bring together so many people as a byproduct of art,
yeah,
like that is so cool.
and have, in my opinion, have not been relevant. No offense to them. Obviously, they're still killing it, but have not been relevant in like 30 years. You can have the impact on people 30 years later. And, like I said, songs, I never, full disclosure, I never gave them much of a chance outside of that. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. But yeah, music,
Yeah,
man.
no, it really is. It's almost sim I mean, it's in a way, might be a stretch, but like it's almost similar to like how sports teams unite people. Because
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, if you like the same sports team and you're walk into the arena, like you'll probably have some good exchange of words if you like the same team,
Yeah.
right? It's like same thing with bands. It's like you go to a show and it's like you can have a like uh foundational conversation because you both showed up to the same band that you liked. So you can probably assume that a lot of the experiences you've had listening to this and these emotions you've had, a lot of other people have had too. So it's a very phenomenal icebreaker for just being a human being
Hmm.
nowadays, because like that's pretty hard to do, I feel like.
Yeah, especially in this day and age. I just
Yeah.
said on a podcast last night. I mean, like it's hard to get people out of their homes. I mean,
Hmm.
you don't have to leave your house. You can literally do everything you want to or need to from your phone. Watch TV, movies, order food. You can date, you can gamble. I mean, back in the day, you would go to a bar to watch a sports game because they had the big TVs.
Right.
Now, a huge TV, I think a 75-inch TV I saw the other day in a store was like $400.
It's insane. Or like, a perfect example of what you're talking about too. Like I remember when my girlfriend and I somewhat recently moved in together, we bought a new projector. And the projector takes up like our entire wall, which like a TV would never do. And it was like a fraction of the price of whatever a TV would take up. So it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, I mean, just to your point, you have these evolutions of technology that are just becoming not only more efficient, but more available to people too. So
Yeah.
it keeps you home.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I would if I didn't have kids, I'd probably be out trying to see some live music right now.
Right. Yep.
I don't know, but that's just my generation. It's and COVID, obviously, we mentioned it before. That just kind of forced people in their homes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it really made people comfortable doing everything from the home. And I think the biggest change in that and why I bring it up is because like it affected the general population workforce to where I mean, what, maybe 35, 40% of people at that point after questioned, do we really have to come back to the office? Like,
Hmm.
what's really the point? I mean, so many businesses have stopped doing that. Like, if you look at the amount of remote work that was done pre-COVID and now post-COVID, that number's got to be relatively impressive. I would
Oh
imagine.
yeah, absolutely. And I don't subscribe to that. People will argue. I can do just as much work, if not more, from home. My wife works from home. I couldn't do it. I need to
Mhm.
be out. I want to collaborate with people. I'm in sales too, so like I need to be seeing people and
Oh.
I also like to be around people. I like talking to people. I mean, I don't even know you. We just spent almost an hour now. Like, it's just I love talking to people. I couldn't imagine being at home by myself. I also probably wouldn't be able to be what do you call it? Not dedicated. Shit. I can't think of the word.
Hmm.
Focused,
Like,
disciplined
oh,
enough
disciplined.
to work like I work at work.
I think there's really something to be said for that. And I think that it's very specific to what you do also. Like
Sure.
I think that sales, I would be hard, excuse me, I would be hard pressed to believe that the same quality could be done. But again, it depends on industry
Yep.
and work-life balance, all that
Yeah.
good stuff. It's funny you mentioned that because I just do like I do some software work for a company, and that's remote. And I was like, oh, great, remote gig. This will be so much better than like going into an office, something like that. And although I think it is for my case personally, I'd have to like go to a coffee shop or go to a library or change my scenery because it's like it's kind of like be careful what you wish for
Yeah.
in that case almost.
But I mean, the home is like, to me, it's like, and I couldn't even imagine people that are, have small apartments and maybe it's a one bedroom and their office is kind of like in their bedroom. Like, there's no separation of work and like home life. I'm
Right.
sure people do it. I'm not saying people can't. And if you're listening to this, don't be offended. I'm not. Do you just like the music? If you want to release singles, do that. But it just for me personally, I just think there's a need for collaborative efforts. Go into a coffee shop. Maybe you bump into somebody by accident and you meet a new friend. I don't know what it might be, but just I just like to get out of the house and just like, I don't know.
I completely agree. I'm the same exact way. I'm s- I love having the option to work from home. Like that is, I realize how lucky that is
Hmm.
for certain things, but at the same time, I don't think that it should be like that's my job and this is all I do is I
Hmm.
just get up from bed, I walk 6 feet over and I just sit down at a desk. Like I think that kind of what you're describing is kind of like having a balance between that is kind of like more ideal. But again, that's just my perspective and some other person might have a job that makes total sense to always do at home and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just think that like um more sales based like what you're talking about, but collaboration especially too. That's hard in my opinion to solely do remote.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I said we were almost at an hour. I don't want to keep you much longer. So we'll kind of wrap things up here. Um, what does success look like for Joyous Wolf at this point?
I think that success would be to honestly have the album be well received. I don't think that it looks like a number. I don't think that it looks like a dollar amount. I think that it looks like fans listening to something that means everything to us and has meant everything to us for so many years that is finally received and hopefully like understood. I hope that the songs are welcomed and appreciated by fans, and that I hope that word of mouth spreads from it because in my opinion that's kind of the best way that I feel like somebody could experience the album is maybe not necessarily like having a single shoved down your throat, although like media outlets and radio play is like something that we're always gunning for and are super happy to do. But if you asked me like what success would, you asked me what success would look like for us right now, I would say that it would be the songs and material that we poured like our heart and soul into for so many years and really like gunned for. Um, are like understood and hopefully appreciated by the fans, and that can maybe grow very, very organically by word of mouth to other people who might feel the same way.
Awesome. Well, the new album In Between comes out August 21st. What does the rest of the year look like for you guys after the release?
We're definitely going to be playing more pop-up shows here or there. The main goal for us would to be do, wow, English. Well, a main goal for us would probably be a lot of fly date, preferably like festival shows. That's what we always had the most fun doing, and we do have a bunch of different pockets of fans throughout the different parts of the country. So being able to get a little bit of everywhere is definitely a goal for us. So that would be like ideal. Other than that, possibly playing some local shows like in LA to support the record. But the fly dates for festivals and other shows would be more ideal for what we want to do and connect with people on.
Okay. And someone hears this interview or watches the interview, and the album is out available for them to, stream or whatever. What's the first song they should listen to if they want to get a good snapshot of Joyous Wolf and the record in general?
Ooh, that's a good question.
End it with a banger.
Ooh. I'd say Storm. I still stand by that. I still stand by that. That song being like the jumping off point for what I believe was like a common theme throughout a lot of the songs, or at least a goal in our mind, started from the genesis of that song. And so we all love that song. It's very important to all of us. And I think that if anybody was to only hear that song from the record, I think that it would give a pretty good synopsis of everything.
Awesome. Well, Blake, thank you so much for your time tonight. In Between, again, comes out August 21st, streaming everywhere. I'm not sure if you're going to have actual physical copies on a website somewhere or not, but search Joyous Wolf on all socials, online, wherever you stream your music, and you won't be disappointed. So thank you once again, and best of luck when that album drops.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thank you. We'll see you.